this face? It ain't no time to wait. Yes, sir. I'm back in with another episode of the We Here Now podcast, episode number 35. I'm your host, MTC, Mario the Cameraman, Young Real, Sosa, Coffee, whatever you like to call me. As long as you like, comment, and subscribe. And we back in this thing. Back again with another episode. We got a good one today. I'm gonna keep it honest with you. There's been a lot of stuff going on, but obviously we're gonna get to all the meat and the potatoes or whatever you have. But I'll be like, get the thing started. We like to start off with my little weekend recap, and nothing too crazy. But before we get started, let me just go ahead and I'll be back on my little coffee kick. I probably ain't had coffee in about 3 weeks. Going on like a little 4-day streak right now, so definitely very addicting. But y'all know how I like my coffee, a little French vanilla, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of creamer. I like to get a little fancy on. I don't try to stun on nobody, but I do like to put a little cinnamon in my coffee for that little extra kick. But enough about that. We're gonna get right into it. We do have Easter coming up Sunday, so we're gonna briefly talk about that because by the time I drop next week's episode, Easter will have came and went. But let's get started. I like to talk about what I got going on at my job, and I've talked about this before. And why I like doing my job is meaningful work. I'm dealing with kids, and even if they act out, it's not necessarily mean that they're bad kids. It could be the environment or just not really understanding how to go about things the right way. Now I got this one student I have. With other drivers they've had them, it's kind of been an issue with them when it comes to him and other students. The best way I can describe it is just like I want to say he's like 14, but he definitely acts like he's like, a little bit older, like 17, 18. So I think that's where it comes from. Like a lot of times he's just playing around, but like his classmates don't see it like that. So like they'll tend to get, upset when, he's being a little over the top. But every time I had him, it's never been a problem or anything like that. But I went to pick him up. This was last Friday. I went to pick him up, and he wasn't there. Now they go to like an alternative school, so like usually at the alternative schools, like when they get into fights and stuff like that, they don't necessarily get suspended, because it happens so frequently. These are the kids that are usually fighting. They even be in the school. Usually you get kicked out like your normal public school, and we got to go to our alternative school. Nothing wrong with it. They just put you in an environment where you can still, learn, but you're just not going to be an issue for any of the students. So when I went to pick him up, and the teacher had let me know that he wasn't coming out, his mom came and picked him up. I think that's weird. You know what I mean? Because like, what could he have really done to get picked up? So I ended up seeing him on Monday, and it's funny with the kids, guys. They'll definitely keep you on point. Like they get so used to seeing you. It's like when they don't see you, they gonna ask you where you been at. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, like if they don't see me, it's not that I wasn't at work. I just maybe had to do a different route. So I see him on Monday. He's like, "Where you been at?" So what do you mean where I've been? I've been working. You know what I mean? But I was like, now that you mention it, where you been? I came to pick you up on Friday. You wasn't here. He's like, yeah, I had to get picked up from my mom by the school. I was like, yeah, they told me I got picked up, but like they didn't really say what happened because like fights you don't get suspended. So what could you have done to actually get suspended? So he's telling me the little situation. Some dude was running his mouth online or whatever the case may be. And going back and forth, finally sees him in school, and then the kid doesn't really want to initiate into a fight. You know what I mean? But the kid that I take to school, he's kind of already tight about it because the kid been talking online about it. So pretty much what happened, it was just a fight. It was. I want to say it was just more chaos more than anything because it turned out to be like one teacher trying to hold him back, and then like 5 teachers trying to hold him back, and like he's still trying to hit the kid that he was originally trying to fight, and then he ended up hitting the teacher. So that's why he ended up getting sent home. And like I said, this is like a meaningful part of my job because I can actually give him like, just, I don't even want to say like positive ways, but just like different options he can go about, different situations. That's like what I was telling him was like, I get like you got issues with this kid or whatever, but like I was telling him it's a time and a place for everything. You know what I mean? Like I give you was probably seeing red, you wasn't even thinking about it, but I was telling him like, you can't let yourself get to that position where you just see red and you're not thinking about anybody else around you. You know what I mean? You you only 14, you dealing with your teachers like, 40s, 56, like they're a little bit older than you. So it's just like you got to be very careful with putting yourself in a situation like that because you know what I mean. You could have really gotten to serious trouble over this. You know what I mean. You still young, and that's why I'm just trying to tell them like you don't want to have anything like this. Deter you down the line in your future from doing something great because they still looking at you from past examples that you have said or just getting in trouble. Because once you get into that system, man, it's hard to get out. You know what I mean? So I've heard. I'll be cool. I don't be doing. Anyways, but I would just give him a real game because, like I said, sometimes he does act a little bit older and he feels like he can, take care of the situation any way that he wants to. But like I'll be trying to tell him is like, like I said, it's a time and a place for everything. Don't just solely think about, this one little thing that's gonna throw you off track. Like you got to really be, strategic with everything you do because at the end of the day, it's like doesn't like going to school, you know what I mean? Doesn't enjoy being in school, yada yada yada. But the thing is, like, he get good grades, you know what I mean? Like he get good grades and then he plays sports. Like he really just only like going to school so he can play sports. It's like I was telling him, it's like, bro, if you get in the fights and you get suspended, like how you expect to play on the team. You know what I mean? Granted, it is AAU, but like I was telling him, like man, your mom is treating that like a privilege for you to play that because she paid for everything. She taking you to your games and all that stuff. You just gonna be acting up at school and not doing the bare minimum, just being a good student and not antagonizing anything. All that stuff gonna be taken away from you, and I think it really started to to sit with them because like I was telling them, like I was an athlete too. Like I wasn't the best in school, like as far as grade wise, but like I did what I had to do so I could be on the field or be on the court. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It'll definitely get through to him. But like I said, he's still young, so I don't know. It's just nobody's probably really had like that real conversation with him. Like I said, with the environment, he around a bunch of kids like at the alternative school that are fighting just as much as him. So like to him, it's like he not really acting out. He acting normal because this is how everybody acts. But I be trying to tell him it's like don't get caught up in like that sheep mentality. Just because everybody else doing it, don't let that justify that as a reason for you to do it. You know what I mean? Like, why not be different? You know what I mean? You always talk about how nice you are at basketball. Like, I'm different. I'm him. I'm all that. Well, why can't you be different in him in the classroom? Why can't you be different in him when it comes to like your decision making? So I just be trying to get game. So I think it be getting through to him. But with kids, you got to tell them, more than a couple times. But I think it was definitely getting through to him. But he's only got like 2 months left of school, so hopefully he can have him a nice little. I think he can though. I think he gonna have a nice little streak before he gets out of school, and then let those good days build up, and then change behavior. But a shout out to I'm not even gonna say his name. But yeah, he's a good kid though. I'll give it to him. But now with the other job, the situation I was having this week. Now we got a work group chat. You know what I mean? You got any type of questions, HR, call offs, like anything on your whatever. The problem is that we all get notification. It's like a normal group chat, so we're all in it. But the problem is, I'm not used to being at a company where like the call offs are just like out of control. You know what I mean? Like literally, somebody is always calling. It's gonna be like 4 to 5 people that call off every single day. Now, keep in mind at this other job, I'm only there 3 days. So like, I'm not dealing with an extra day of dealing with all these people going back and forth. But it's just crazy to me. It's like these people will call off for anything. Like I kid you not, this girl called off because she said she had no clothes and she had no money to wash her clothes. Yo, I get it. You know what I mean? It's not always the best time. You may have to wait a couple days to get your money right and wash your clothes or whatever. But I'm thinking like in my head is like if I ain't had no clothes, I ain't had no money to wash no clothes. Man, I know I got some Dawn and some hot water in the sink. I'll wash my clothes like that. Put them boys in the sink like old school. What them little things they used to have back in the day? Used to be like the little wood thing. They used to have like the little metal thing. And like when you rub the car, I'll come on now. Like that's not really a good excuse. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's like when stuff like that happens, the managers just they won't even. It's not really an issue, they'll call it and I'll see when I go back to work. It's like, okay, cool. One girl called her, she's like, yo, I drank too much last night, like I'm hungover, I can't come in. Like, and Somewhere out there, let me know if that's actually a valid excuse. Have you ever been somewhere where it's like, okay, you're too drunk to come for your shift? Oh, it's fine, just sleep, just get your rest, drink a lot of water, get your electrolyte, drink your Gatorade, and then come back in whenever you get a chance. There's no rush. I don't, I could be wrong, but at the end of the day, it's like, it seems like at this job, it's like the employees are in full control of how their day is going to go. Now, as an employee, I want my employer to, I don't know, kind of show some type of some strength, some type of some organization, just because like you're supposed to be like the top. You know what I mean? Like you're the person that we come to just to make sure everything is going smooth and copacetic. But if I feel like I can just call up whenever I want, like where is the organization? Where is the structure? And that's just me. Like I don't be late. And like I tell you, y'all know I work too. I work Monday through Saturday. I got one off day on Sunday, and that's recently my football season started back up. So it's like I'm always running and getting all the time. So like when it comes to excuses like that, man, I don't be trying to hear it. You know what I mean? But that's just what's been been going on as far as work. It's definitely frustrating to me, because like for me, that's both my jobs. So they definitely look at me as like somebody who's reliable. When I'm supposed to be there, I'm gonna be there. Like I don't call off. You know what I mean? If I call, if it's like really got to be like a serious situation. You know what I mean? But it's like for me, being so dependable all the time, I just feel like, and that's like a bad way to think about it. I know like the certain stuff that other people are doing, I couldn't get away with doing it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's a blessing and a curse, like at the same time. You know what I mean? Because it's a good quality to have to be dependable, but at the same time, when you being held to a higher standard than like the other employee or other employees are being held to, I don't know. It'll definitely doesn't sit right. But I'm not the one to complain like, man, why did? But at the same time, I'm gonna bring it up. I mean, I got a podcast, so I'm gonna do my little ones and twos and keep it moving. Oh yeah, and I don't think I talked about that last week, but yeah, my football season started again. Back to playing flag. Um, it's been a while since I was or living down in Florida. I didn't really get a chance to play too much, but now I'm back home. I'm in a solid work schedule. The money cool. The money cool. I ain't gonna lie, the money cool. So it's giving me the opportunity to actually be able to play again, which is nice because even as much work that I do, like always being on my feet, like I think it's still good to have like a hobby outside of work. That's for anybody. Not only do I do the podcast, but before I started doing the podcast, football was like my hobby for me to do. I come to work, I do what I'm supposed to do, make money, and then I leave. And then in my free time, I get to still do what I want. I just doubled up on it. But yeah, I would advise anybody. I think I talk about this a lot too. But just have a hobby that's something that you truly enjoy to do, no matter how tired you are, money situation, whatever the case is. You got to find a hobby that you do outside of work. Because now we're all getting to that age where it's mainly just work. And if you got kids, it's work and kids and family, and that's pretty much it. But for the ones out there that that don't necessarily have kids yet, and have the luxury to actually have a hobby, um, definitely do that. You don't want to give your whole life to a job because you start working at that job, they're gonna replace you. They're gonna have somebody in that exact same desk with the exact same coffee mug, all that's the exact same parking spot. They'll replace you just like that. So like, don't forget, like in your free time, to just be free and do what you choose to do. When you at work, you're listening to somebody else. You're doing this for this just so you can get a payment. But like, you need to find something that you can do that maybe it doesn't give you monetary gain, but it actually makes you feel good. That's going to give you that motivation to do all the stuff on the side to fund all the stuff that you can do that you truly enjoy to do. But enough about that. Oh, y'all want to know how I did in my football game? How I was eating. They don't even want to throw to my side. They already know how I get down. So, but I've been playing both ways. So I've been playing receiver and then corner as well. So last one, I literally played the entire game. We ended up winning 28-0. There were some scrubs, but yeah, I don't know. I know y'all probably want me to like post highlights. I probably ain't gonna really post highlights because I'm not even really recording at the game. I'm on the field too much. Unless somebody wants to come, record the games and we can chop it up and I can throw it on the channel if you guys want to watch. So if anybody's watching this, if you want to see, me play football, see stuff like that on the channel, come film. You use my camera, I'll pay you. Obviously, I don't know which one, like $100 a game. I ain't gonna do that. And if you bring your own camera, we can talk some chickens. But if you're gonna use my camera and record footage from, I ain't gonna go crazy. But like, we can talk about some, some gas money. Get you some grub to eat on. We'll figure it out. Mm. And like I said, we got Easter coming up. Um, y'all go crazy about Easter, or is that like something that you enjoy more when you're young because about the candy and stuff? I think the best part about Easter, honestly, be the egg hunts. Now, granted, I haven't done an egg hunt in years, but when I go to my family's house, my little sister, she's a little bit obviously younger, but but she's kind of getting to age now. I think she's 14 now, so I think she's almost at the stage where she's gonna grow out of wanting to do the egg hunts and stuff like that. But I'll see them on Sunday for dinner. Got my brother coming back in town as well, and the homie Smeagol, so it'll be a nice little reunion or whatever you wanna call it. Besides the candy though, what else like y'all be excited about when it comes to Easter? That's crazy. Ain't none of y'all say y'all was excited about Jesus. Y'all look, the Easter Bunny didn't hijack Jesus' holiday. That's supposed to be the day we remember the day that that he arose or whatever you want to call it. I was actually just talking to my homegirl about this other day too. She's real big into her Bible and stuff like that. She really don't like celebrate holidays at all. And we was talking about Easter. I think she really don't care either way for Easter. I think she told me that she likes the fact that it's a day to remember him, but like it's some fallacies and the stories about whatever. But like she was telling me, Jesus died on a Wednesday, and then he rose on a Saturday. Now, for some of y'all that think like Jesus is just this straight arrow, straight and edge person, I don't believe that. And like my homegirl be telling me, like Jesus had balls. You know what I mean? And that being said, the fact that he died on a Wednesday and rose on a Saturday, he knows what he was robbed. So he's like, oh yeah, it's lit. Everybody off, get a little liquored up. He probably pulled up about 10 o'clock, fashionably late, waiting for everybody to go crazy when he pulled up. And sure enough, just came out like they're like, Jesus. No, let me stop. Let me stop. No, for real though. Y'all gotta stop playing with Jesus. We gotta stop hijacking this holiday. And for Easter, let's not forget about Jesus. Anytime you go through any hard times, you want to think about Jesus. When it's good, you don't necessarily just think about Jesus. You be talking about you just lucky. But this Sunday for Easter, let's not forget about Jesus. Amen. Ah, now moving on. It's been kind of crazy past couple of days for me. I'm just gonna get into it real quick. This all I'm said. People need to be comfortable with the decisions they make. I'm tired of people making decisions and then you're trying to play it off like, oh, well, it wasn't like that, or this wasn't supposed to happen, or it wasn't even me. Like you don't want to take no accountabilities for your actions. Now, I say that to say a kid I went to school with ended up getting locked up. Now, me and this kid used to be the homie, but like it's kind of been some beef for some years now. It's some like little fake beef. Like we don't talk, but it's like if we see each other, like it might be a situation. But like I said, it's like years ago. I don't be harping on stuff like that, but it's like I'm very big on like if I don't rock with you, I'm not gonna fake like I rock with you. You know what I mean? We done had a conversation about like what my issue was, and just him not like just kind of playing dumb. You know what I mean? And when you play dumb, it's like all right, cool. I'm cool on the conversation. You know what I mean? But I was getting calls all day about it, about him getting locked up and stuff like that, and my thing is like that's not my homie. You know what I mean? Even as the years gone by, like it's not beef. Like I don't rock with dude or whatever the case may be. But it's like it's people I ain't talked to in months. Call, yo, you heard what happened? I mean, I damn near ain't talked to you since high school. You calling me about this, But like I said, we all went to high school with this kid, so like everybody's like kind of like thrown off, like oh my god, I would have never expected this to happen. But like he definitely made a change. For sure to be into like the good kid to kind of wanted to prove a point to prove to people that he's some gangster, he tougher or whatever the case may be. But Yeah, ended up getting locked up. And I think a lot of people are surprised about it, but like me personally, I'm not surprised about it. I got a brother right now. He's doing 10. He's already been in jail for about 4 or 5 years now. You know what I mean? And even with him, it's like I don't like. I'm not like coddling you. It's like, oh man, like you didn't do this or whatever the case may be. Like I definitely want you to come home, but like we just like if you're not gonna take no accountability for it, like I don't even like when you get out, I'm not even gonna want you around me. You know what I mean? Because like you gonna still live that same way, thinking like you was done wrong, whatever the case may be. But my brother, he not like that. He like actually understand. You know what I mean? Like, and we were actually just talking on the phone last Saturday, and he was just telling me like when he had went to like we went to school together back when I went to Streetsboro before I moved to Royalton for high school. But he was talking about like man, like after Streetsboro and I went to Royal, like that's when all that shit just went downhill. You know what I mean? Like just dealing with certain people I thought was my homies, it wasn't my homies, and like all this stuff ended up happening. And then he got put in a situation like he's in now. But like I think the best part about that is he definitely knows now. Like some people lie. Like if you only done like a little bit of time and then you get out and you do a little bit of time, you get out. Those people don't really learn their lesson. When you really got to go in there and sit down for some time, that's really going to make it different. I know you've been in this Bible. Definitely more. Just a lot of positive energy. I think he's trying to get that judicial release, so hopefully he'll be home in a couple months. But yeah, just like his game plan, whatever he got to come home and get straight to work. That's what we're gonna be on. Cause like I'm telling him, like I work Monday through Saturday, my boy. Like I really don't got time to really do any of the bullshit. You know what I mean? So like when you come out, like if that's what you want, all right, cool, we can do that. That's my brother. But it's like don't have me convinced like you gonna be out here on your job, and then when we supposed to begin to the money, it's like you still kind of regressing. So when he gets out, we'll see. But I got a lot of faith in him. He's not really like a bullshit. Like definitely, definitely a wild boy. Like we was definitely both wild boys back in the day. But it's just like I think he was so used to like somebody like me having his back and like how he would have my back. He thought other people would be like that to him, and that wasn't the case. So that's kind of how he got in his trick bag. You know what I mean? But he'll be home soon. Shout out to my brother James. For you, Mac. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to touch on that situation. We've been talking about a lot of lockup, but we kind of gonna get to some more stuff though. But I just wanted to clear that up too. I don't wish jail on anybody. I don't think that's a place for anybody to be in. I wouldn't wish somebody to be in a position like that. But at the end of the day, it's like if we cool, we always gonna be cool. But if we not cool, don't wait till you get like down to your luck. You like, man, I should have been a good homie. I shouldn't have did this because there's a lot of stuff that I really helped them from letting shit happen to him, and then doing that, and then in return to stuff that he was doing to me, it's kind of like, yeah, we gonna have to either we gonna have to handle that, or we just gonna have to stay away from each other, and that's what it turned into being, staying away from each other. And now he gonna be in a position where it's like, if those guys really holding you down, like you thought they was holding you down, then, you know, good for you. But as far as me, I'm cool. I'm super good. Free you after you served your time and whatever the case may be. Cause I just want to make that clear too. Cause we love Jesus up here. I talk about kind of like the change that he made, but I'll make that very clear. We love Jesus. But yeah, we a little ratchet too. But it's like all that demonic and man, I'm cool on that. You know what I mean? I'll never support anything like that. But yeah, I definitely just want to touch on that because that's definitely been I don't even want to say it's been weighing heavy on me. It's just the fact that I just been annoyed by how many people are calling me about it. Now some people they call me, they kind of knew like the situation that me and him have, so like they're not calling me as like thinking they was gonna get like an empathetic. It's like, oh my God, can you believe that happened? It's like yeah, it's kind of like a like typical Cleveland hood story. You know what I mean? You play with guns, you run with certain type of people, you do drugs and all this type of stuff. Like that's the life you choose to live. You gonna get all that life has to offer. You got jail, you didn't get death though, but those are two things that I promise you gonna be in the streets moving how you move. But I'm gonna say a shout out to you, but no shout out, but do what you gotta do and I really ain't got much to say about that. Um but yeah, it is what it is, my boy. or somebody's boy. That's y'all man. That ain't my man. That's y'all man's. Remember that. Y'all was calling him like, man, you heard? Like, man, why y'all like? Why would I know that? Like, that's y'all man's. I don't care about that. But yeah. Anyways, y'all know how we do this thing. We talk a little bit about what I got going on, a little bit about this, a little bit about that. But on the other side, we gonna get into some more mainstream stuff. Um, and yeah, stay tuned. I know I gotta do my little 1-2. I gotta slide out this joint, and then we gonna lean back a little bit. Commercial break. All right, we back in the thing. Yeah, sure. Hell, my lip hit that. Ugh, nasty. But let's get into it. I'm sure all of you guys have been seeing this online, but the Quiet on Set documentary. I definitely was gonna miss out on talking about this. Um, First, before I say anything else, this is definitely one of the most uncomfortable documentaries I've seen since the documentary When They See Us. You know, the kids at Rikers Island got charged young and all this other stuff. Very, very disturbing. And a lot of us who have been so involved in it is because when we was kids growing up, this is what we was watching. But come to find out, like all this secretive messaging that was going on in these shows, and they just hide in plain sight. But like we kids, so we not even thinking about like what's like that. There's something ill will, malicious that's going on. But that's exactly what was happening. And the fact that Nickelodeon was a lot of child actors, you know, maybe the oldest was like I don't even want to give age, but I'll say like the 18 to like maybe like 23 range. But for the most part, when Nickelodeon got started, like a lot of those kids was mad young. Like I'm like Amanda Bynes, I want to say she like 2 years older than me. You know what I mean? So like when I'm watching her on TV, it's like I'm literally watching a girl who's my age. Just the fact that she's on TV. Now, definitely being exposed to that much fame at a young age has its downfalls, as I just mentioned. You know, Amanda Bynes, what she's been going through, but you see that with a lot of these, not even just Nickelodeon, but Nickelodeon and Disney stars, and you know, y'all see what Miley Cyrus was going through. You know what I mean? So it's like it's always something that kind of aligns up par for the course with these young actors. Now, the problem I have with this Be Quiet or the Quiet on the Set documentary, um, just how I don't even know how to say it. Just how nasty some of these adults can be. You know, you're around children. You know, we're supposed to always protect children. This isn't just like a new thing we just decide. I feel like it's always been a thing. Like we gotta protect the children. What is it? Children and elderly, right? But it's like I feel like these kids weren't being protected. They're actually being exploited. You know, and I feel like a lot of these kids may necessarily didn't have the talent, but because they looked a certain way, like they were kind of pushed to actually be stars, you know. Um, I don't even know where I want to start with this. This would be a long one, but just the fact that all this stuff was like all calculated down to the actors' looks, the willingness to listen and not ask questions. Like it was a lot of devious stuff that was going on, and coming from Dan Schneider, which was he was a producer of a lot of these Nickelodeon shows that we saw growing up. You know, iCarly, um, Drake and Josh. I'm trying to think all the big hit shows that you can think of. Zoe 101, all those famous shows that we all watched growing up were all created by this man Dan Snyder. Now the problem I have with Dan Snyder is the fact that you weren't concerned with having a healthy work environment. You were just so clear on your vision, not only with the kids, but like all the sexist stuff that was going on with certain writers, where it's like, okay, you're not paying certain people because they're women, but you'll pay another man who just came on board and has no experience at all. So a lot of this is going to fall back on Dan's side of respect, or rightfully, I should say, because I mean he was in the wrong for a lot of this stuff, and a lot of stuff that was going on was based off the environment that you had. Like, okay, I get it. You're the creator. You got to be working with these kids, and all this stuff is going on. But I feel like it's an appropriate way to do it. Like, I didn't want to get into a lot of the scenes, but a lot of you guys saw the documentary, so I'm just gonna keep it at that. It was a lot of times that he definitely crossed the line. He was too touchy feely with some of the action. These are children, you know what I mean? So it's like Definitely didn't sit right with me. And then come to find out, one of the acting coaches that was part of this whole machine, Brian Peck, had inappropriately um touched Drake Bell. Now y'all remember Drake Bell from Drake and Josh? Even when y'all same age probably. Growing up, Drake Bell was like that guy. Like everybody thought he was exactly that guy that was or that was portrayed in the Drake and Josh. Uh, some would say good looking, no Diddy. Got girls, playing in the band. All the stuff that you would think like as a teenager, like girls would want to rock with. You know what I mean? But come to find out what he was going through all this stuff, it just really made you think. It's like why. Yo, that's devious. This is the acting coach. So it's like, okay, your acting wasn't where, professionally like it should be. So like you're gonna be spending time with this guy to get, to work on your A game, get right so when you come on camera, you camera ready. And then come to find out he's doing all this inappropriate stuff, like he's calling him after hours. Drake's hanging out with his girlfriend and this dude is calling, blowing him up, blowing him up, blowing him up. He's not answering. Now he calling the girlfriend's mom's house talking about some talk like it was just a lot that was going on, and just the fact that all this stuff was going on, and they're actually being showed, it was just crazy because like y'all remember watching Nickelodeon. I don't think we didn't think like a lot of that stuff was like weird or inappropriate or anything like that will be going on behind the scenes, and then you kind of look at like some of these documentaries that they break down about Dan Schneider, like the whole obsession with the feet thing and the Nickelodeon being a foot. See, me personally, even like growing up, like watching these shows, I do remember there being a lot of feet being showed. You know what I mean? Like spraying ketchup on the feet, like they do the little eye things on the toes, and do the little look. I'm a meticulous person, so I don't find nothing funny about feet at all. No matter how you dress it, how you tickle it, how you color it, I don't think none of that is funny when it comes to feet. But come to find out that Dan China had this weird foot fetish. I don't know. It's crazy. Like it's definitely gonna make you look at a lot of those shows differently because like as we are watching, we're not thinking anything weird like that. But like now, it definitely makes me uncomfortable to watch some of that stuff just as an adult now. Because back then I was a kid, so it's like okay, like I said, it was very strategic. Like a lot of these girls, like even when I was growing up, like I was attracted to the actors and stuff that would be on these shows. You know what I mean? But it's like I'm not thinking that they're actually making these actors kind of portray and like font a little bit older with the adult humor and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know. It was just crazy watching that documentary, and the fact that even when Dan Stein heard about the thing with Drake Bell with the Brian Peck thing, him like kind of being like, oh okay, like I'm here for you, I'll come for you, like don't worry about it, you don't have to talk about it anymore, but just know like if you need someone, I'm here for you. But at the same time, Dan Snyder is doing inappropriate girls. He's not doing it necessarily with the males, but he's doing it with the females. And at the end of the day, underage is underage, minors is minors. So it's like you don't want to. That's no bueno. But yeah, that definitely threw a wrench in the system for me. Because I can't even really feel like I can enjoy the shows like I used to. But it is what it is. I do remember watching a documentary on YouTube before this actual documentary came out, but they had been kind of building on this for a couple years now. But hopefully all parties involved get the justice that they deserve, and people are dealt with because as adults, the adults were to blame. I feel like in a lot of this, the adults were to blame for sure because at the end of the day, it's like even me as a kid, let's just say like my baseball coaches, it would be very weird if it's like 11 o'clock at night and my baseball coach is calling the house. We have nothing to talk about at 11 o'clock at night about anything. And then if you were to call again and then again and then again, and like, it's just, I don't know. It's just out of control. But moving on, speaking about other things being out of control, y'all may have heard me reference it earlier. It's a new slang going on. All right, we're not saying pause no more. We're not saying no homo no more. We're not saying fast forward no more is no Diddy, because Diddy been on some freaky stuff. So now when it comes to, you know, this replacement, so it's like, okay, this is gonna be a long and hard podcast. You go, no Diddy. Or you might say, no Diddy, no Diddy, take that, like that. But, no, but for real, no Diddy. So, P. Diddy, his house was raided in connection to possible sex trafficking. Now I feel like we've been talking about Diddy for like the past couple of months now because there's been a lot going on. Remember, it started with the Tupac killing, right? Something about him having some type of connections, sugaring on them guys was on his head. So they putting his money up. Allegedly, they're saying that Diddy did this or whatever. But Diddy has so much money, everybody's like, man, nobody's like, he's not gonna get charged for it. Even DJ Vlad talked about it, like he doesn't see him actually getting charged about it so long ago. But even like people confirm that he definitely said he had $1 million, for the slaying of Tupac, whatever. But now as we get farther down the line, it seems like it's some more stuff brewing up. The fact that his house got raided is definitely a red flag for sure. And the thing is, when you get to a certain money stature, so I heard, I don't know, this is what I be hearing and what I be seeing, that you're kind of above the law. You can kind of do certain things to get away with it, have his money pay this person off, and it's all good and it's all gravy. That's why his house actually being raided means that this got some legs to it. It might be leading to something. Now, sure enough, when the raid had happened, Diddy just so happened to be on a private jet going to the Caribbeans. Because everybody goes to the Caribbeans in March, right? Well, I guess if you're rich, you go to the Caribbeans whenever. But you would especially go if you got a tip like, hey, they come and get out the country. All right, cool. Then it's the perfect time to go to the Caribbeans. But they raided his LA house, Florida, and his New York house all at the same time for these raids. Now, Diddy wasn't in either one of his three houses, because why would you be in one of your three houses? You're a billionaire. There's no reason for you to stay in a house. You just go to the Caribbean for vacation, Right? I don't know. Fishing me. But like I said, this is all allegedly. Don't sue me, Diddy. I don't want... Diddy ain't about to... got time for that, Diddy. Well, you better go somewhere. But, yeah. Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call him, is in hot water and is getting real. And it's crazy to see, like I said, I was mentioning about the thing with Tupac and him allegedly having the money. I don't want to seem like it just seems like they're looking for something, but I think I think they're very aware of what was going on and what was being said, and didn't necessarily act on just the one thing, but wanted to act on something that they can, really get on, because people were already willing to speak out. Like even the situation was going through with Cassie. She asked for 30 million. The next day, he's like, all right, cool, let's sign this off because we don't want this to get too crazy. But sure enough, it still already got crazy. So that kind of lets you know, like, where it's at when it comes to the whole Diddy thing. Now, I personally don't have a problem with Diddy. Do I have a problem with the EDP type antics? Definitely. You are a billionaire. Like you can't find somebody well above the legal age to, like I don't know, but now that I think it's a sickness for sure, especially if you're a grown man. And I'm not even going to justify for somebody who's poor, but if you're rich, you can literally have access to any woman in the world. You can, even if you can't do it with your mouthpiece, I mean, you got $1 billion. Somebody gonna pay the slave for sure. Like you legally pay the slave. Why you want to like pick up a girl from here who's under the age and then fly her to here for all these freak offs you be having? I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me. Now a lot of people like to bring it back to like some crazy like Illuminati, like whatever you want to call it. It's a problem. Like that's all I can say. I don't know if it's actually a mental problem, but it's got to be something like that. Just the fact of having control over somebody or whatever it may fall down to. Did he get wrong? You know you're wrong, and you know you. Like I said, I don't wish yell on nobody, but at the end of the day, like you doing wrong like that. I mean, that's just what it is, you know. And come to find out, a lot of this stuff is happening when it comes to like these kind of like um these $1 billion organization and these wealthy people, the leaders or whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, it's wrong, and we gotta stop instantly defending people just because they black. You know, I get Diddy is a mogul, and it seems like all our moguls are idols in some way, shape, or form are being torn down. But I don't care about our idols being torn down if you doing some bogus shit like that. You know what I mean? Like we don't respect none of that. And I went on a long rant a couple weeks ago about somebody doing a little situation. I don't mess with that person at all. Like that person may feel some type of way, but like they know like the reason it's for. And it's not even like that person is the person who did it, but it's like the fact that you associated with somebody that you knew that was doing it for monetary gain for you, and then decided when you got the bread, it was kind of like, oh no, like I don't rock with it. But it's like you rocked with it before when you was able to capitalize off and get some money out of it. Now it's not wrong. Don't be no picky choosy type person when it comes to that. When it comes to any type of pedophilia like that, it's an automatic no go. I don't care who you are. Like I'm not even going like even if it's someone in my family, like I'm not rocking with that at all. Best friend, girl, like none of that stuff. We not rocking with it at all. Like I said, we got to protect these kids. Like I work with kids too, so like that definitely make me feel some type of. I'm just kind of put myself in like the kids' shoes. Like that happened to one of my students. You know what I mean? Like boy, I'll be tight as hell. You know what I mean? Like they good kids. You know, and most kids are exactly just that. They're good kids. They're innocent, and they shouldn't be exposed to anything like that. And any kids that are exposed to anything like that, I think as adults, we failed. Not as a white race, as a black race. I mean, a race as a whole. If you're an adult, like if anything like that is happening in your close proximity, and you know about it, you're too scared to say something about it, or whatever the case may be, like we have failed. We got to do whatever we can to protect these kids, even if that means putting yourself in the line of fire for you to get hurt to protect your kids or to protect these kids. I feel like that's what you're supposed to do. Honestly, like when you was a kid, you'd want an adult to help out. If you wasn't strong enough, you wasn't big enough to stand up for yourself, you want somebody to do the same for you. So let's do the same thing for these kids. We got to protect these kids. Like that shit is bogus. Like I be getting hot just talking about this stuff. You know what I mean? Because like I don't like any type of form of bullying or taking advantage of anybody. You know what I mean? So it's like we really got to stand up and as adults, do what we got to do to protect these children. You know, and I don't want to rant on that too long. As you see, like when I talk about myself, I definitely get hot because, like I said, like I don't like feeling anybody is being taken advantage of in any way, shape, or form. And that's just and this comes from somebody who don't even have kids. Like some of you guys that got kids, you feel like, oh, if somebody did that to my son, man, I love that energy. Let's keep the energy for our kids, but like keep that energy for like your kids' friends as well. If you think like something might be going on that to anybody they're playing a basketball team with, anytime you see your kids interacting with any type of kids, let's just keep an eye on these kids and make sure nobody doing anything weird. I don't care if you're a woman or I don't care if you're a woman, or you're a female, or you're a male, you're skinny, you're strong, whatever the case may be. If you're an adult, we got like even if you're an adult and you're only like 120 pounds, a kid probably like 30 to 60 pounds, like you still gonna put up a better fight against whoever trying to harm this person than the kid. Let's think about that. Let's stop being selfish and let's be selfless. I didn't say shellless. I said let's stop being selfish and selfless. Come on now, let's get to it. But before we get out of here, I like to do a little setting. It's called Things I Care Briefly about. It's gonna be brief today. I don't got much to say, but like I said, I don't like showing y'all on the concept. Now I haven't done this in a couple weeks probably, but that's not the point. Don't follow me for what I haven't done. Credit me for what I do. Amen. Now, probably a lot of y'all probably saw the Baltimore boat. Uh, I don't know why I said the Baltimore boat, but it was a boat in Baltimore, so it's technically the Baltimore boat. But it ended up crashing into a bridge. Um, in the middle of the night. Now, all you conspiracy theorists talking about, oh, it was a biohazard, it was a attack of terrorists. Like, man, they literally already talked about how it was a mistake done by the crew members. The shot right there was mistake by the crew member. No crew member or nobody wants to be a part of messing up anything. By the end of the day, it's like if you mess up like dog, you mess up. Like everybody had jobs. It's just like certain jobs, your mess up is gonna be a little bit different than somebody else's mess up, right? Now, if I forget to put salt on the McDonald's fries, not a big deal. They're probably gonna wrap around, they're probably gonna throw the food back at me. All right, cool, that's not a big deal. But imagine you working at NASA, you working on a rocket ship, and you forget a piece. That's gonna be a whole lot different than me forgetting to season some fries, right? And I think that's all it was. Like honestly, they honestly made a mistake and end up crashing into a bridge. Now I think scary situation for sure, but one positive thing that we can take from this is the fact that, excuse me, is the fact that it happened in the middle of the night. Now it's a bridge. Now imagine that happening 1 p.m., 2 p.m., rush hour around 5 p.m. There's a lot of people. This could have turned into literally like a crisis, you know. Now, granted, the boat taking down the bridge, that's a big deal, right? Very big deal. But the best part about this was that like other people who weren't involved weren't affected at all. Now that sounds selfish to say, but the fact that the crew members did mess up, they kind of got to take that for what it is. But imagine the crew members messed up, they crashed to the bridge. Not only did they crash to the bridge, but they crashed to the bridge, and they took out 100 cars that are on top of that bridge. That you see what I'm saying? It's not like it's better, but like you got to think of it and stuff like that. But I think it was genuinely an accident. We're not gonna go on them too hard, but just luckily nobody else was hurt in that situation. Another thing, there's more COVID in the air. Make sure y'all got your masks and your Lysol if you're worried about catching it. But yeah, the lady I work with at one of my jobs, she got COVID. The lady I work with at my other job, she got COVID, and two people on my football team, I got COVID as well. So mask up and get that Lysol if you're scared. If not, keep thugging how you thug. Um, Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney is still on. They had a face off. It was definitely very telling. Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia have been fighting back since it was in the juniors. But the face off was very telling because you can definitely see Haney is a true competitor, and that the fact that him and Ryan have like history going back to when they were younger. Um, he's obviously aware of that, but he's not holding on to that. He's not going to stop that from letting him fight. And that's why I said the face-off was very telling because it was a moment where they were talking about what happened back in the day and how Ryan Garcia used to dog Devin Haney. Like, they used to look at Haney like, oh, yeah, like, man, yeah, we going to beat the brakes off him. Like, not even worry about it, And it got to a point where, Haney was just constantly getting better. While they overlooking, he constantly getting better. So after the first time that Ryan beat him, they fight again. Ryan tried to do the same thing. He ended up putting him down. But like you see them have this moment in the face where like we're both kind of laughing. Like Garcia is accepting the fact that Haney did, come back and get him right. But then Haney was able to flip that switch right back on right after they got through the playing around. I think that kind of bothered Garcia because I think Garcia's having a problem with separating the fact that they have been knowing each other. I don't know if you want to say friends, but since they're kids. But I mean, this is a fight game. You got to be ready to put your opponent down no matter who it is. But yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes. I mean, I'm taking Haney in this fight for sure. But I don't know. It looks like Ryan is in a better space, but uh, I don't know. We'll see. And last but not least, we're gonna talk about the pastor finessing the people who go to his church. Now, this has been like a common thing going on with like all these pastors, um, living these luxurious lifestyles, right? Now, what ended up happening is this lady, she was in the hospital. She had a whole bunch of medical bills to take care of. So she's kind of down in her luck, you know what I mean? She's going through all the proper channels to get the medical bills paid for. And somewhere along the lines, we got this pastor, and I'm not gonna say his name, but you can look it up. I'm not gonna give him no more shine. But the pastor comes in. It's kind of like, yeah, we can do this. You give me this, your life savings. We can do this and flip this, and you give me 90K, and I'm gonna give you, yeah, I'll give you 200K. So okay, that seems like a pretty sweet deal. Talking about what you giving and then what you're getting back. It makes sense. So the lady ended up doing getting 90,000. Boom, don't hear from the pastor anymore. So this is the pastor, and you just got 90,000. Before it's like, oh, we do this, and there's gonna be this. As soon as all that's all good and dandy, but when she sent the money, it was a little bit different. Now, how he ended up getting caught, for some reason, he ended up sending the email to her son, and he was kind of like flexing about like the money he had got, and they're like, wait, whoa. Wait a minute, you flexed all this money, but I just gave you 90,000. Not only did I not get the 90,000, but I didn't get the 200,000 that was promised me. So that's the issue alone. Oh man, you know what this man told her? He said that was a donation. Whoo-wee. I feel like the pastors be talking crazy because they feel like they a lot more protected by God than most people are. But at the end of the day, that's wrong. You stole from this lady, and this is the first time you haven't heard of this. Hasn't been the first time you've heard about a pastor, taking some type of funds in any type of way. And sure enough, it has happened again. Now, the problem I have with this is like when you're a pastor, you shouldn't be in Rolls Royces, Rolexes, all mansion. You shouldn't be in all these high power places because as a pastor, you are supposed to be humble to God. And I don't think God is super materialistic. I don't know how a Rolly, how a Maybach, how a Rose, how all this stuff is helping you be a better pastor and help you preach any better than you've already been preaching. Now that's crazy because now the pastor, he flexing, got all this money. It's just a different time now because now we live in a world like when the pastor can also be, pastor getting money and he also can be sleeping with your wife all in the same sentence. That's crazy, isn't it? Imagine you giving the church this money for donations and all this other stuff, and you got to worry about if the pastor gonna be smashing your wife. I mean, personally, I would love a God-fearing woman. We can go to church, be like, man, it ain't gonna be no, oh, the pastor need me to do the pastor. Well, the pastor need to find a wife or someone else that do all these low errands because you my woman. You don't need to be. Yeah, just like that. I know how these pastors get down. And the crazy part is, like I said, with all this luxurious stuff, like you see, man, you might see this in traffic. Like, oh, he getting money. Man, that boy's selling dope. No, that boy's selling hope. Man, that's crazy. You get rich off selling hope, boy. But man, that's been another episode of the We Here Now podcast. I appreciate you guys for coming in. If it's your first time coming in, I hope you got enough content to make you want to come back and rock with your boy. And for the people that have already been here, I'll be rocking me tight like, yeah, sir. It's been another episode of the We Here podcast. I'm back next week. Miss Consistent. You know how we do it. Same thing how we always do. I'm going to be here. Y'all going to be here. We going to laugh. Y'all going to laugh. We going to share. We going to have a good time. Yeah, sure.